First guy I want to talk about is Kerryon Johnson. And you're not alone. A lot of people are loving this guy. I do like the individual talent a lot, but I'm a little bit worried about his situation and not sure he's going to be as useful in fantasy as he is going to be on the real field. So why do you like Kerryon Johnson as much as you do?
So this is actually something I tweeted about this morning that you need to understand when to let a player go, right? Like you can have a guy as a sleeper or a value, but if he
Mhm.
starts shooting up the board, you kind of pass on him. So Kerryon Johnson is kind of that. So maybe
Okay.
maybe I'm taking a cop out here, but I got a lot of ninth, eighth round Kerryon Johnson. I think on my draft report I put him in the seventh, and even then now he goes in the fifth. But
Oh, jeez.
yeah, and that's too much. That's too much. But ultimately, the way I looked at it was if you compared him to the other running backs in round 8 or 9, he had the clearest path to become the dominant ball carrier. I don't believe that they care much about LeGarrette Blount. I mean, yesterday he was playing in the third quarter. He's a 32-year-old running back. They gave him very little money. I know he's the goal line guy, but if you look at him last year, I think he had one touchdown on 12 carries inside the 5 yard line. He was the least efficient goal line guy in the NFL. I think Theo Riddick will ultimately be the pass catcher. He's fantastic in that role. I don't think Amir Abdullah will be on the team. And you've seen the quotes about Kerryon Johnson. They added Frank Reich now. Taylor Decker gets back. I think they're gonna feature him more, and he's gonna be the first and second down guy. And at a late round ADP, I liked him, but once he starts going in the fifth round, I kind of back off him. So that's kind of the way I looked at it.
Yeah, I got you. And granted, let's say he falls down a little bit. So last night, he only had 9 yards, 4 carries. Maybe he goes back down. I still, even in that eighth, ninth round range, we're just talking about Cohen, and sometimes Marshawn Lynch falls down that far, which is just insane to me. There's just a lot of guys I end up looking over carry on because I love the talent. I just think he is going to be stuck in between the 20s hell is kind of what I refer to it as. Is like he's got those early down carries. I think the line upgrades are fantastic. I think he's going to do some damage. He'll rack up some decent total yardage, but ultimately maybe Blunt does keep that goal line roll no matter how inefficient he was. He has Matt Patricia now, obviously a no old Patriots guy who's a big committee guy. Saw Blunt rumble for 18 touchdowns just a couple years ago, and then Riddick's obviously going to maintain that pass catching role. And that's two of the most valuable fantasy gainers right there, is receptions and touchdowns. If he's losing those and stuck in this, if Abdullah gone, that does change things too. But it could be a potential four-headed nightmare, maybe just a three-headed one. As good as he might be, I just don't ever love buying committees like that.
I think one thing you need to factor in is the fact that they did trade up to get him. They spent
Yeah,
significant draft capital. You see, when teams draft guys in the first and second round at running back, they get him on the field a lot.
that's true.
And ultimately, I think he's going to replace Blunt in that goal line role. I wouldn't be shocked if Blunt's not on the team when the season's over.
Yeah, I think that's a great point too. Is by maybe early on in the season, my like between the 20 hells thing is predicting and it's going well, but he's totally one of those guys that by mid-season, his talent, the draft capital they put in, just takes over, and suddenly, maybe you only paid an eighth round pick, and suddenly he's returning second, third round value. It took a little bit to get there. I can see carry on being in a situation like that for sure, especially if they release Blunt and realize how bad he actually was at the stripes. So, all fair points. I think we're kind of both on like the
It's
both
a little,
sides of this one.
he's a different type of player.
Yeah.
It's almost a little bit similar to the Alvin Kamara situation, where they wanted Peterson to be the guy, and Kamara like didn't touch the ball much the first 4 weeks, and then he obviously came on that. He's not going to do that, but I'm talking about like I wouldn't be shocked if Blunt's inefficient, and they're just like, you know what, you're 32 years old. We drafted a guy. Let's just go with Carry On and Theo Riddick.
I can totally see that too. Yeah.